Hey Shlo, how you doing, man? What's up, Pinda? What's up, Anime Vibes? Hello, Ivan. How you doing? You left a comment? What comment did you leave? What video, man? Hello, guys. Hello, Tagurus. Hello, Evie. What's CS Counter-Strike? Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Good to have you here, guys. Secret to improving is do more damage. Saturday streams are a little bit more, sometimes Saturday streams are a little bit more, off kind of regular content. I'm not gonna be playing more for rivals. Not gonna be playing Overwatch. Usually I do it for Counter-Strike, other like kind of off-topic stream, we can call them. I used to do debates. I think debates got a little bit too repetitive. Um, I also think that debates are interesting, but I think that most people I debated with either agreed with me or were random people, which I don't hate talking to random people, but I prefer speaking to other content creators and people who disagree with me that have a following. Not that I have anything against people with no following. I don't think the people that are not content creators like subhuman or something. But I think there are more things at stake, and it means that there's like more engaging conversation. Hello, everyone, by the way. What time it is in Israel? It's almost midnight, 20 minutes to midnight. Does this apply to tank? Absolutely. I'm drinking my tea. As you can see, I'm sunburnt over here. If you can see, my shoulders are red as hell. It's not that bad. Do you have a Salo guide? Yes, on my YouTube channel. I have a few. Check it out. When I say a few, I mean I have a guide and a bronze to GM demonstration of set concept. Like 2:38 p.m. Nice. 2:38. That means Western time zone. US West. Do you have any tips for quitting nicotine? Well, truthfully, I've never smoked a cigarette before in my life. The only things I've ever smoked in my life were weed and cigars. And to be honest, never seen the appeal of weed. I just never. The last time I did it was years ago. I don't find the appeal. Don't understand it personally. And cigars are like kind of like wine for me. It's something that I do on occasion. Cigarettes never smoked my life. So I've never quit nicotine, but I did quit something before. I've quit sodas. I mean, I still do the cheat stuff, like I drink energy drinks that are technically sodas, but I used to drink a lot of, Coke and like a Fanta and all that stuff. And one day, cold trick, I just quit everything. I drank only like sparkling water and regular water. And yeah, so that I quit. And the simple thing is that usually it's like a mental battle. You like just quit cold turkey one day. You say I'm not gonna smoke, and it's like you just test yourself. How long can I go? How long can I go without it? But like truthfully, and the more you go without it, at first it's really really difficult. But like after, let's say, after a few weeks, you don't feel like going back because of how much you've gone without it. At this point, it's been like 4 years, 3, 4 years since I've stopped drinking Coca-Cola. And at this point, I know that it wouldn't be a big deal for me to drink cola, right? Or like drink Coke. It's just that I've gone so long without doing it that I would feel bad for ruining the streak. But a lot of people say replace it with a habit. Like instead of doing the nicotine, try to find something else. Maybe tea, something. Maybe instead of every time you want to have a cigarette, drink some tea, I know you have pretty much 2 guides in Solid, but there's any chance you make an updated one? There's no difference between the old version and the new version. I'm playing some Marvel Rivals today. I'm not planning to play Marvel Rivals nor Overwatch, by the way. Anytime you want to coach, just rip a cig. You know, not. I wouldn't say it's bad advice. It's just that I wouldn't put the cigarette and trade it for a coke. Have you ever been swinging the Dead Sea? Yes. But when I'm sunburnt like that, I would not dare to go in the Dead Sea, man. The burns are gonna be too bad. You never smoked in your life? Cigarette. I've never smoked cigarette in my life. My parents were smoking, so I didn't. It's like smoking cigarettes for me is a lose-lose situation. If I like it, it's a lose situation. If I don't like it, it's a lose situation because I've tried it for no reason, you know? It's a lose-lose, bro. For me. But... yeah. Would you guys like to hear the secret to improve, guys? To improving at anything? It's like mostly about Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, video games in general, but then logic applies to real life as well, whatever you want to have. Would you like to hear the secret? My secret? It's not really my secret. It's my conclusion. So if you'd like to, bring some friends over here. Tell them Awkward has a secret he wants to share with the world. So they can become the best players they can be, or the best whatever they want to be. Bring them over. Truth nuke time? Yep. Did your friend request a game not named Sync today? No. Accountability? No. We'll have to wait for a little bit more people before I spill my secrets. So. Bring your friends over. We need to have more people in the stream. And then I'll talk about it. What's the viewer goal for the secret? 1 million viewers. And I spill the secret. 1 million viewers live. Consistency and discipline? Nope. It's not going to be the generic consistency and discipline, which are, by the way, great advice. Like, consistency and discipline is, yes, but it's got to be a little bit more than that. A little bit more, got to be a little bit more practical. The secret to improving it turns off stream when everyone's here, you correct? Taking accountability? Yes, absolutely. However, something a little more practical. It's kind of like advice and story time. I'm gonna tell you a story. Story time. I'll tell you truthfully what happened. You know, on Saturdays, I usually run a stream. I'm pretty tired, but, you know, just because I'm tired doesn't mean that I'm gonna run a stream. And I don't care how tired I am. If I do streams on Saturdays, I do streams on Saturdays. Not giving them up. Even if it's just Counter-Strike or just talking or watching some YouTube videos. Stream is a stream, man. The thing is, I'll tell you, before showing up on the stream, I had a coaching session. I had a private coaching session. And I kind of like ended the coaching session with something that I wanted to say. Like, kind of, we talked about a concept and I shared kind of the story through, you know, the coaching and all that stuff. And I said some things that I thought were pretty damn good. You know, I said some things that was like thinking about them. Like, damn, it was like a good speech that I gave. It's like, before I forget about it, and I need to stream anyways, might as well start the stream with that story, and then move on to the things that I want to do, because I don't want to forget about it. I think it's tons of value. Anyone, if shisha is harmful with cigarettes, I think shisha is more harmful than cigarettes. I think because of the amount of smoke. Pretty sure. Could be wrong though. Not a scientist. Not a smoking scientist, but I think it's more harmful. What is more harmful? Shisha. It's hookah. Hello, what did I miss? Nothing yet. Waiting for more people. Bring your friends over, guys. Tell a friend about your stream. If you have a friend that remotely cares about improving at Overwatch and he wants free advice, now is a good time. I'm gonna share a story. I'm gonna give a conclusion, and I think it's gonna be very helpful. And I'd like as many people as possible to hear that, because, you know, in hindsight, I wish somebody would tell me that. Had played Overwatch for years. I'm curious. Do you think you can solo queue top 10 or everyone's duo? Most of the time, I mean, not the most of the time. I think the last time that I hit rank 1 was in solo queue. I've hit rank 1 and 3 at the same time while solo queue. Pretty positive. Or mostly solo queue. Top 10? Yeah, no. Top 10 solo queue is, yeah, very, very, not only possible, it's like not unreasonable. What do you think about the trash queue times in the game? Reports say 7 million people play Overwatch and their queues are too long. Yeah, I don't know. The queue time is something that needs fixing. Nobody likes to wait that long, especially when any game on the market doesn't have that queue time. Doing good, man. How about yourself? Hello, Clausy. Hello. Are there any new chatters around here, by the way? Any new chatters? Do you think you could hit rank 1 if you had to queue with Crown every game? Yes. I think Crown is a good player, and if I lock him in, we could definitely hit rank 1. Yeah. If we're serious, but I like, you know, I think that Crown doesn't particularly care about being rank 1. Cran, just like every content creator, wants to have the most amount of viewers. And rank 1 does not mean the most amount of viewers. Example, number 1. Do you have to be a semi-pro to get into champion? No. I would actually say probably most champions are not semi-pros or pros. Hello. Any new guys in here? Any new people that never watched my stream before on Twitch or YouTube? Crown is on vacation. Where did he go? What character do you think is the hardest to carry on? Mercy and Lifeweaver. But I'd probably say Mercy more than Lifeweaver. In Bulgaria? What is he doing in Bulgaria? What's on the menu today? Awesome stuff, man. I promise. Like, listen, I'll promise you this. I don't think you'll regret watching the stream today. That's all. Which character has the highest carry potential, Echo and Tracer? I don't know. I think that Tracer has more carry potential than Echo, but I think they buff Tracer and then they nerf Tracer, something like that. More spread now with a damage buff. I started off Ingling on Rainbow Six today. Damn. Do top 100 players typically have regular jobs, assuming they aren't teenagers or kids, or do they have more gaming-related careers? I think it depends. I would argue that most people in top 100 don't actually have jobs, or at least not full-time jobs. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Most gamers, especially good ones, are unemployment. Like, the thing about gaming the thing about gaming is that if you're really good at gaming, and that's kind of like for everything, if you're good at something, don't do that shit for free, okay? Unless you really want to do something from the bottom of your heart, which is fine. You know, like, if you're a great chef and you want to cook for children for free, for sure, guys, yeah? Like, gladly. But if you're really good at something, try to avoid doing it for free. And it's the same with gaming. You know, if you're really good, you should strive to play for somebody, not for free. You should strive, if you're so impressive to the point that people are so impressed with your gameplay, create content around it, you know? Don't do it for free. If you're a teenager, I would understand if you could just play 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours every day if you're in high school. Okay. But you have to understand there are people who are like 25 in this game, and they grind this game every day, and they don't get paid a single penny. Like, maybe they'll win a tournament there, maybe they'll win a tournament here, but they don't get paid enough to make a consistent living. And that's something I will never understand. Because in this life, you cannot live without money. We can talk about passion and all that stuff, but you cannot eat, you cannot have a shelter without money. And that's true. How do you know you're good at something? Well, there's objective measures for that. I mean, if you're the top 1% rank at something, you're good at it. Are you the best at it? No. Are you close to being the best at it? No, but you're better than 99% of people. You know, I would say that if you're Grandmaster, would you ever be as good as me if you're Grandmaster? No. Would you be as good as me as teaching the game? Probably not. But you're gonna be good enough to hope 99% of the player base, you know? But the thing is, man, like, if you're above 21, right? Assuming you're post college, post army, depends on where you live. You need to start like thinking about yourself, your loved ones, the people that you care about, you know? Can't be unemployment final boss. I'm not saying you need to be fucking millionaire, trillionaire, grind set sigma, right? I'm just saying, but at least maintain a job. Have a job, man. Pay your bills. Live by yourself. You know? Buy things that you want to buy for yourself. Be an independent person, and you will never be an independent person unless you have money. There's no because if you don't make money, essentially you're grabbing money from other people to live your life. Whether you are getting unemployment, whatever, it's from other people's taxes. You live with your parents, they pay for your shit. You are under some program, people taxes. You essentially are living off of other people. And I think that you need to be living independently. All right. It seems like you got your friends over. It seems like, we have 200 viewers on Twitch right now, close to 100 on YouTube. Bring your friends over. And I want to share like a little story that literally happened an hour ago. And it's like kind of a conversation that I've had. And I realized I want to share with everyone, not just with that one person. And I didn't want to forget about it. So I just immediately turned on my stream. What about student loans? What about student loans? And you should pay them yourself, I'm assuming, yeah? Since you took them. Do you enjoy your work? Greatly. Greatly, man. But I'll tell you something. The reason why I enjoy my work is because I'm good at it. If I would suck at my job, I would hate it. Truthfully, I would hate it. And I'm not saying that you will like your job if you are good at it. I'm just saying it's much more difficult to hate your job when you're really good at it. Because you get the respect. And you see in real time how you help other people. Job market is really hard now. It's impossible to find a job unless you're so good at what you're doing. Well, it also depends on where you live. That's first of all. And also, when you say the job market is hard, might be in a specific area. I promise you that if you're looking for a job that is not like a bottom tier job that pays like $50 an hour, $20 an hour, I'm sure you're going to be able to find it. But if you're good at your job, what is there to learn? Just to be better. There are a decent amount of people who are really good at something. You just want to be better than them. I learn from my job all the time. I'm gonna be honest. I already think I'm the best at what I do. I think I am the best coaching people, but it doesn't mean that I am not looking for ways to be better. I don't want to be this far ahead of the competition. I want to be this far ahead of the competition. Literally, I want to be so far ahead of the competition where in my opinion, my free stuff, the free value that I provide is just better than every single paid thing you can get. My free videos will get you more value than 99% of what you can pay for. I want my free stuff to be way better than paid things. I want my free stuff to be way better than anyone else's paid coaching. My free stuff. But I learn a lot. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be like this degenerate. I learn something new every single day. You know? I don't learn something new every single day, but it comes to me in like a boom, you know? Like after a month, I'll kind of look back at the entire month and be like, I've noticed that when I say this, people are more receptive. Are more receptive to compared to when I say this. When I say this word, people pay more attention. And it comes to me in a boom. It's like a lot of trial and error until I realize, okay, this is working and this isn't working. It's not that I learn something new every day. I think in my level, it's very difficult to learn something new every single day. But these things come to you like at a big boom after a lot of trial and error. But it's about experience, about experimenting. Not being toxic, but I personally find your Overwatch media are richer in details than your Overwatch 2. That's fair criticism. Matchmaking sucks. I got to leave for an easy game now. I've put into loser's queue. I'm installing CS. Fuck Overwatch. Okay. J3 had good free Overwatch 2 educational vid. J3? Bunch of question marks? Personally, I have a friend in computer science who is in love with the subject, and he's really good. I personally feel like if you love to do something really much, then you can figure out how to get good at it by spending more time. Don't disagree? I do think the best way to learn and actually understand in-depth topics, you have to be able to teach it to someone else instead of keeping it to yourself. I agree. Guys, I'm going to be... for the sake of transparency, I don't gatekeep things. Even when I say I'm sharing the secret, I use this as a secret. It's not a secret. It's something that I just want to share. It's not a secret that I held from you. It's something that I just discussed, and I realized, okay, I like this. Let's share it to the public. I don't gatekeep shit, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I try to teach everything that I do. Do you believe that passions are found or built? It's a good question. It's a good question. I think it's a mixture of both. Wasn't J3 like top 1 tracer? Add sub. Okay, guys, it's time for you to. It's it's gonna hurt my revenue, but if you, I'm gonna be talking now. I'm gonna be sharing the secret, so you gotta have your ad block ready. It's gonna fuck my revenue, guys, but you gotta have your ad block ready. It's all right. I will not hate you if you don't get some ads. I would prefer for you to use your Prime for free or subscribe, but if you really have to, use the ad block. You could use the ad block. Awkward, I thank you so much. I always take accountability for losing games, but give myself credit for winning games and make some good plays. The only elo hill that exists are both delusions. Hello, Awkward. I hope everyone has been well for you. Thank you so much, Forgetful. I found someone with your username on Overwatch 2 today. Makes sense. It's a word, after all. Okay, guys. You ready? Let me just sit in the corner with some nice view. With no sound, Shit. There you go. That's nice. Coaching today, not today. And I also want to kind of share something with you, and you let me know what you think of my idea. Let me share the secret of how to improve video games or virtually anything. So about an hour ago, I had a phenomenal coaching session. I have Rank Up Academy, but I also do private coaching sessions for people with larger budgets. And one of the conversations that I've had with him is that, at the end of the session, we kind of boiled down that his feedback was that he needs to play more aggressive. Yeah? He needs to play more aggressive. It was, for context, he was an Ashe player that played way too far away to the point that he had damage fall off. And he was constantly playing behind his team and very rarely took off angles. And in short, the feedback, without getting into too much detail, is playing more aggressive. And then I was thinking about, I've realized that if I had to sum up why I am good at video games, the answer is because I'm an aggressive player. I play way more aggressive than anybody. Like I am the damage guy, right? I do damage. And then it kind of made me look back because I've been playing video games for over 2 decades. It's mostly playing FPS games. I played Unreal Tournament. I played Counter-Strike 1.6. I play guns. I played Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I play Counter-Strike 2 now. Played Overwatch. I played whatever it may be. And I've noticed that with every single game, I play very aggressive. And how did that contribute to me being that good? Well, the thing is, when you play aggressive, is that you get a lot of feedback. Because when you play aggressive and die, you think, I played aggressive and I died. So why did I die? Because of this, and that. I played aggressive and it worked. Why did it work? Because this, and that. you constantly get so much feedback when you play aggressive and you do the limit testing, as professionals call it. Essentially, what you're doing is that you're doing so much volume and you get so much feedback that it's just nearly impossible for you to not improve. And if you notice, always the best players, the best, the absolute top, are always aggressive players. You understand? The best aimers are always aggressive player. Think about it. How could you possibly be a good aimer without constantly putting your aim under challenging positions? You know, I've said this before. People that I tell them flank more. What most people do? They flank, they fail, and they say something along the lines of, awkward. I try to flank, but I always miss my shots. Therefore, I don't want to flank anymore. And I say, no, flank until you hit your shots. You flank 10 times and you fail. 11th time, you actually manage it. You messed up 9 times, you hit the 10th one. 1 out of 10. If you do 20, all of a sudden, out of 20, it's 2. Out of 30, it's 4. Out of 50, it's 7. And the more you flank, the more feedback you get. And then it challenges your aim. You need to hit your shots from the flank. But you're not always gonna. But it's gonna improve the more you do it throughout. More flanks, more volume, more challenging positions, aim improvement, positioning improvement, cover improvement, cooldown improvement, everything improvement. The more aggressive things that you do, or if you were to use the word aggression into real life stuff, it's just volume of things. Volume of things. The more girls you approach and talk to, the more likely you're going to find someone who will date you. The more in basketball, the more throws you do, the more likely you are to score. In football, the more you kick the ball into the net, the more likely you are to be better at kicking the ball into the net. Essentially, if you had to boil down as to why someone is good, it's about how aggressive he is. Every great aimer, every great player are aggressive. Think about it. You guys remember Jonak? Why was Jonak good? Because he was aggressive. He was an aggressive player. Valid. Why was a Valid good? Aggressive player. Why is your favorite Genji player so good? Aggressive. Why is your favorite BP player so good? Aggressive. And the reason why they're so good and why they're managing to do so aggressive is because they were aggressive and they fed and they learned. They got so much feedback. The world, or let's just say players, are divided into 2 categories. Those who are aggressive fail and give up, and they become these passive guys, heal bots, right? And those who are aggressive and continue to be aggressive until they learn. That's what players are divided to. So you either do it so much, fail, and then improve, inevitably, by the way, or you try, fail, and simply never try again and quit. So in short, be more aggressive, guys. Constantly be more aggressive. Do more volume of the thing that is giving you the most feedback. Whether like getting more aggressive to you means playing closer, flanking more, taking more 1v1s. In real life, whether it's like, you know, asking for more feedback from your manager, you know, trying the risky sale tactic. When I say risky, I mean not illegal, legal. Whether it's dating life. How are you gonna find a date when you never talk to girls? How are you gonna find a girlfriend if you literally, like, you talk to one girl, she said ew, and then you stopped? All right. Okay, that's it. Okay, she said ew, so what? Most people hear ew, ew. They just okay. Oh no, I don't want to talk to women. They said ew. No, keep trying, man. Like if she's saying ew, a lot of times because you said something that was creepy. Let's be honest here. The reason why this happens is because you said something that was creepy. Ask yourself, what did I say that made her say ew? Was it something I said? Maybe it's my haircut. Maybe it's something I'm wearing. Maybe I decided to talk to her with my Pokemon shirt that has a ketchup stain over here. Right? If you say hello and somebody says ew, most of the time it's because like it's the way you present yourself, you know? Now, can't the girl simply be rude and a bitch? Yes, could be. I'm saying that most people aren't gonna do that. But it's about volume. It's about being aggressive, you know? It's about doing the things, getting feedback and being persistent. If it doesn't work, don't just okay, it doesn't work, let me not do it again. No, keep being persistent. Try again. Try again. Try again. Think, why did it fail? Why did it fail? Or rather, even, more importantly, not more importantly, equally as important, why did it work? What did I say to this guy that made him want to close the sale with me compared to the other guy that said no? What is the difference? It was like, mostly about video games, but we always I'm always here in the stream trying to convert these things and translate these things in real life because in concept it's the same thing. Being good at video games is no different than being good at your job. Essentially, you take the same steps to be good at the video game that the same way you would do with your job, with your hobby, with your whatever. Same thing, man. But those who give up after trying one time are just destined to fail. And those who try time after time after time and constantly are seeking the feedback, they are not afraid of the feedback. They're not afraid of the rejections, or rather, it's not that they're not afraid. They understand that it's gonna happen. They're gonna fail. They're gonna be rejected. They're gonna, get fucked. And also, they're gonna do great. That it's gonna work. They're gonna get positive feedback. But it's always, I want to have so much I want to try so many things. I want to try to do these things to constantly get feedback. I don't want to have one success, one failure. I want to have 10 successes, 20 failures. I want to know things. I want to know the thing. Like, I had this conversation with my friend the other day. He wants to he is getting older and he kind of wants to find a girlfriend and find a girlfriend who's going to become his wife and the mother of his kids. Yeah. Like and he, nowadays it's mostly done through Instagram. And let's be real, it's like mostly you will hit on girls on Instagram because nobody like walks outside anymore. So I told him something that kind of relates to this. At the end of the day, you message the girl on Instagram and you might say something like kind of bad, like, hey, exclamation mark, no response. Well, yeah, obviously, how many girls get a message of hey every day? Tons of them. Unlikely. But just because you say hey and she didn't respond doesn't mean that you should stop sending other girls messages. So you try the hey again and it doesn't work. Okay, let's change my strategy. Let's see what she's into. Oh, she's into books. She's been reading Overwatch 2, The Secret to Becoming Good at Video Games. Let me comment on that. No response? Okay. How could have I approached it differently then? Maybe I could have asked her about where she bought the book. What chapter is she in? Oh, wait. Asked her what chapter is she in? And all of a sudden she responded. Okay, great. Well, we went on a date and it failed, but, let's try another one. But essentially what I told him, let's be real here. If you message 100 girls on Instagram What is the likelihood of every single one failing? What is the likelihood of every single one not responding? There should be at least one that responds to you, right? And for the 99 that didn't respond, at least you can ask yourself why they didn't respond, right? Out of 100 girls that you ask on a date, what is the likelihood of 0 saying no? And if 0 say no, I would say it's very good feedback, you know? At least you could tell, why did they all say no? Oh, I have a Pokemon shirt with a ketchup stain on. Oh man, I haven't shaved or, got a haircut in the last 2 years. Well, that could be why. My breath stinks. That could be why. You know? Many reasons. But you have to, every time that something fails and every time that something works, ask yourself why and immediately try again. Don't just like, sit for like 20 days. Why did she reject me? Why did she not respond to me? Like, he rejected me. Why do I think that is? Pokemon shirt. Let me try to switch a shirt. It could be wrong. It could be wrong. Who knows? It could be wrong. But at least try again. Get more feedback. Or if you don't want to change anything, try again. Same strategy. And then you'll have a more clear conclusion as to why it failed, because she might say something. She might be like maybe a girl will say, ew. But a second girl would be like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. You're pretty cute, but you're wearing a Pokemon shirt. That's why. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's the Pokemon shirt. Let me switch a shirt. Let me put like a nice like button up. Oh, now this girl actually gave me her number. But it's the same thing, with Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. You play aggressive, you die. Why did I die? I decided to go in front of 4 or 5 people. Well, I want to try again, but let me try and not going in front of 5 people this time. Let me try see if somebody's by himself and I can go on him and attack him. And then you do the same. Why did I die? Oh, I didn't use my cooldown here. Okay. Let me try again and use my cooldown this time. But the idea is that you want to constantly maintain aggression until you realize how to maintain the perfect aggression. The analogy that I can make is that when you season your food, you put salt on your food. At first, you add a lot of salt and say, this is salty. Oh. But the answer is not put salt on your food. You want to put less salt next time. Still salty, less salt next time. Still salty, less salt next time. Oh, damn, now food tastes pretty good. But the problem with a lot of people, they put salt, it's salty, they never put salt. They play aggressive, they fail, they never play aggressive. They talk to a girl, they get rejected, they never talk to girls. They try to ask for a promotion, they don't get promoted, never ask for a promotion. They try to do this at their job, it doesn't work, they get bad feedback, they never try again. They never try to get out of the box, they never see what they can do. But the idea is to constantly do something and get so much feedback, which equals experience, whether it's negative or positive, it's still experience, and then try again, and try again, and try again, and try again, try again. And every time you try again, it's going to be way better, even if you succeeded. Like, the idea of success being this, like, goal that you reach is not true, because there are levels of success. It's like, this worked, but how can I make this better? This worked, but how can I make this better? This worked, and how can I make this better? Just because somebody succeeded doesn't mean that you have to be complacent. You have to ask, why did this succeed? And how can this succeed even more? And try, and try. Okay, this succeeded, but then I tried and it failed. Why did it fail? Okay, boom. But it's the same thing, but you have to constantly get feedback. Most people are fucking sleeping, man. Just play too passive. And all of this that I'm telling you just came through a random coaching session, a conversation that I had with a guy that came from coaching to me. And we just had this conversation, and this stuff, like, came out of my mouth. And I was like, I don't want to lose this stuff. I want to share this stuff with the people who watch me, because I think it's super valuable. Because I've learned a lot through this coaching session, and I learned a lot through the coaching session that I do. how to teach better, how to communicate better. And I'm starting to realize, and I'm starting to boil things down as why am I good? Why am I good at these things? Why am I good at these things? And you know, a lot of people say hard work. A lot of people say dedication. A lot of people say discipline. A lot of people say talent. A lot of people say this, but you know, and it's not inherently wrong to say these things, but there has to be some practical things that lead up to me being good at something, or you being good at something, or this guy being good at something. That there has to be practical things. It's not randomly, boom. And like general things, yeah, they're all right, sure. But you know, sometimes it's very difficult to determine generalities. We want to have practical things that we can execute. So just wanted to share it with you guys. I'm gonna be honest. I think that it's I came to this realization is like, why am I good at video games? And I came to the conclusion that every single game that I played, I was very, very aggressive. Okay, I was very aggressive. And what did it lead me to? Did I ever stop being aggressive? No. How did I end up? Because obviously, when I started being aggressive at the beginning, talking 20 years ago, when I was playing this Unreal tournament and I pushed, I obviously failed at the beginning. I obviously fed. It's like I obviously did something wrong. I obviously failed. You know, the first girl that I ever talked to didn't necessarily want me. I got rejected, right? The first phone number that I tried to get, I failed, but like somewhere along the ways, I did something that made me successful with the aggression. And it's just about the toning down from the extreme and not extreme the other way. It's not I try, I failed, I'll stop. It's I try, I fail. I think that was a little bit too extreme. Let's tone it down a bit. Doesn't work. Let's tone it down a bit. Oh, okay. This is actually showing more results. Let's keep trying it. Okay, now it failed, but it didn't fail for the last reason of too aggressive. It was because I took the wrong 1v1, or I used my cooldowns in the wrong order, or I didn't use cover. I took an open space. You know, this so and like it just kind of like that somewhat blows my mind is that if you keep kind of like you think and you keep an open mind, you can learn so many things about yourself, about life, about things. Like there's so many things you can kind of like learn, and like it's not even about the knowledge itself, but rather how can I implement it practically? What's the practical implication of this in my life? Because theory doesn't mean anything. Practice means everything. What you do means everything. Action means something. Knowing everything means nothing if you don't implement it. Saying I know this, but you can't prove it because you're not doing the things to prove it, well, it's not worth anything. But this is not about other people. It's not about. I mean, it is somewhat about other people because you get your feedback based on other people. You know, like the only way for you to know you're playing too aggressive is based on how the enemy team or the enemy itself reacts to it. How it reacts to it and the feedback you get. Because all of what I'm talking about is determined by feedback of external things. The enemy, the girl you're talking to, the customer, your boss, whatever it may be. So that's the secret, guys. That is really the secret. And I also wanted to kind of like share with you something that I thought of. Yeah, so it wasn't like this whole be self-accountable, be hardworking, disciplined, which is, yeah, you should be. It's a little bit more kind of practical, you know? Like it's something a little bit more noticeable, rather, and not a vague term. Something more kind of that you can see, and you can resonate, and you can practically implement. I've lost my attraction to women since a major depression, and I've been single for 7 years now. I try to be a better person. I work, I do sport, bodybuilding. I'm sometimes a GM on Overwatch, but I don't have any real friends or lovers because I can't manage to improve my social relationships of the because of the other consequence of depression. I don't manage my emotions well, and I'm often tired, which repels a lot of people, makes me unhappy. But that's like kind of the same thing, right? It's like, why was I depressed? First of all, the first question is, why did I feel depressed 7 years ago? And how can I avoid being in that stage of life? Now, feeling something is not something that you can avoid. But the practical things that come with a feeling, the actions that come with a feeling, is something that you can absolutely control. And whoever tells you otherwise is lying. I've already made so much effort to make new friends, but I can't because they can't understand me and my problems. Can I ask you, what would be your problems and why do you feel like people can't understand them? Your friends cannot understand what your problems. You're an anonymous on the internet, so you could just, if you'd like to say, you can say. Uh, Operative psychiatrist. Nah. So I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Nothing's gonna be handed to you. A lot of people are not gonna understand. Uh, no one's gonna. I mean, 99.999% of people don't even give a fuck about you. Like that's just the honest truth. No one gives a fuck. No one's gonna hand you out anything. Most people, I mean, the only people who care are probably your parents, probably like a best friend if you have one. The people who care are probably gonna be the people who are going to benefit from it. The people who care are probably gonna be the people who are gonna benefit from caring. I mean, some things could be unconditional, you know, some things. How could I implement this aggression Valorant, for example? Because it's generally good to play with your team here and there. You can flank and run every time you can. Yeah, but how, dude? Exactly my point. How can you know when it would be a good time to play with your team or do something solo or push here or play more passive here? The only way for you to know it would be a better play to play more passive here if you play aggressive at that time and fail. If you play aggressive in Valorant and die, and I played aggressive, by the way, I played Valorant. I was already playing Valorant. If I push here and I die, why did I die? Fucking stumbled upon Cypher tripwires. So what should I do? Number one, wait for my team to walk in, get into tripwires. Could be an option. I don't know, but could be an option. Number two, maybe throw some utility, cancel the tripwires. Maybe kind of jump spot the tripwires. Whatever. But the only feedback that you can know if it was the better way to play passive or play aggressive is through playing aggressive, because playing passive gives you no feedback. That's the thing. Being passive gives you no feedback, or so low feedback that it's going to take you so long to progress. And that is why, precisely why, if you look at Overwatch and you see people who have been stuck at the same rank and play like support. It's the easiest example. The reason why they've been stuck is because they're heal botting, because heal botting is the least aggressive thing you can do. Because they're so non-aggressive and they just heal bot, they never improve because they get no feedback. You're like, okay, they did not die, therefore I did my job, and there's nothing better I can do. Is he reading chat? Of course I read chat. I don't speak Arabic. I know some words, but I don't speak Arabic. I've had chronic fatigue and a lot of problems with my father, who was very violent with me before, and I think that traumatized me. And today I don't feel things like other people do. I only feel pain. Story, maybe I should talk about my private life on the stream. I should talk. It's okay, man. The things have happened. Did they influence you in some way? Absolutely. But they're a matter of the past, and you've learned from them. What have you learned? Violent fathers suck, and you don't think violence is the answer. You don't want to hit your kids. You don't want to hit other people. That's something you've learned. Other people come to different conclusions. Whatever, right? But the thing is like, why do you want people to feel your problems so bad? You know, like, I'm gonna be honest. Yes, it's nice. It's nice when people understand you sometimes, but life is the same regardless if people understand you or not. Like, at the end of the day, you still have to get shit done, regardless if people understand how you feel or not. It's like, when you do a job, for example, and you say, do you even you say to your customer, do you even understand how hard this is? He can say, quite honestly, I don't care. So what? So he doesn't care. Who cares? Still have to do, you still have to do the thing. Do you speak and know Hebrew? Yes. It's my main language. Awkward, you're a noob. All right. But it's like, how many languages do you know? 3. But like, this whole idea of, like, I know everyone wants to be everyone wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard. But even if you're not seen or heard, you still have to do the things until you're seen or heard. Essentially, you have to be so good at doing the things that you do that you will inevitably be seen and be heard. A lot of people are not seen and not heard, and I'm gonna be blunt here, is because they suck. They just suck. People who are good at things are almost always seen and are almost always heard. Almost always. So my answer would still be, do so much stuff and do so much, like, consistently get feedback from the environment to the point that you get so good that people will see you and hear you. Yeah, you're not seen, you're not heard. Okay, do shit. Do shit so good everybody sees you and everybody hears you. And if you really don't care about being seen or heard, well, then you wouldn't really care about it. Then you would have no complaints, But then you're just seen for being good at something and not for who you are, still leaving you feeling lonely. That's not true, because being good at that thing is a part of who you are, because you being good at that thing is a part of who you are, because who you are is the reason why you're good at that thing. It's the way it is, man. People always try to make these excuses and like these scope answers. They see somebody who's like rich. Yeah, he's rich, but he must be lonely. he must be this. Yeah, he must be unhappy. Or like they see a pretty girl, she must be dumb. They see a guy who's jacked. Yeah, he must be a meathead. Why? Why? Like, why? It just like, why is that the case? No, it's not the case. A pretty girl, newsflash, a girl who's pretty can be smart. Newsflash, a guy who's jacked can actually be, pretty cool, pretty smart. A guy who's rich can be happy. All of these things are coming through people coping for their lack of competence. I am not as rich as this guy, but I'd like to be. Therefore, I have to bring him down. I have to even the playing field a little bit. She is prettier than me. Therefore, I have to call her dumb. He is more jacked than me, so I have to call him a meathead. It's all cope. You have to bring other people down so you will feel better about yourself. And if somebody says, I don't care that he's more jacked than me, right? He would not even care enough to say that he doesn't care. He would truly not care. You understand? If you have to say randomly, I don't care that he's jacked, well, why the fuck did you even have to say that then? Why do you care so much to the point that you have to say that you don't care? Most people who don't care about things, when you say things to them, you say, okay, like, he's more jacked than you. Okay. And you just like, you need to move on with your life. Yeah, like that's what happens when people don't care. It's like, bro, imagine, let's say that you are a pretty girl. And you know that you're pretty, like you know that you're pretty. And somebody says, hey, you're ugly. What do you say? I'm not ugly. No, you would just say, okay, bye. Okay, like, okay. You just move on. It's like, walk. You say, okay, and move. And continue fucking picking apples for your grocery shopping. The people who stop and have to tell you, no, I am actually very pretty. So they do care. You do care that somebody called you ugly. You have to prove that you're ugly. But the best form of proving somebody something is to do things. It's to do things to the point that it's so undisputable that you're that thing. You know? Like, do you think anybody could come up to Messi or Ronaldo and say they're bad players? No, because the proof is just undeniable. It's just undeniable. You cannot say that for Ronaldo and Messi are not the goats of football. Why? Proof is just undeniable. So you have to do so much things in your life consistently, always. Always apply successes to the next success. Always apply failures to the next success, to the point that it's just undeniable that you are something or that you have improved. For instance, it's going to be a self-flex. It's going to be a self-glaze. But I don't even have to say how good I am. I sometimes say how good I am either as a joke or like, I'm sometimes impressed with a play that I made. But, sometimes I read comments I've read before rather, would I say. I've read comments before somebody says Awkward is not a really good player. And under that comment, there's like 5 people are saying, yeah, bro, he's so bad that he hit rank 1 so many times. You see, like, it's too undeniable that I'm such a good player that when somebody says that I am bad, no one even listens to that person. That person automatically is discredited and treated as somebody that is stupid because the proof of me being a good player is so undeniable. If someone is debated for being good or bad, it just means that he isn't good enough. Can't say you're arrogant. By the way, I don't think I'm arrogant. By the way, I don't think I'm arrogant because somebody who's arrogant usually usually would not see ways he could improve. And I always look for ways to improve. Just because I say I am good at Overwatch, for example, is because it's objectively true. I am good at Overwatch is not being arrogant. Saying I am so good isn't arrogant. It's just true. It's just true. And if it rubs you the wrong way, probably because it's kind of like digs down your insecurities. You can say, "Hey, dude, like, I would wish you would be more humble." Why, dude? I played for over 2 decades, and finally, after 20 years, I can say I am good. Why do I have to be like? Why do I have to be humble about it? I've worked so hard to be where I'm at, and I've been doing this for so long that I finally have the luxury of saying I am good to myself. Not even boasting to other people. I'm not like, guys, believe me, I'm pretty good. Like, awkward, dude. So good, man. So good. I'm so proud of you. You have to be humble. No, dude, I don't have to be humble. I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I've worked my ass up. I tried my very best every single time. You're not in a position to tell me that I'm not allowed to tell myself or like tell myself that I'm good. And if you think you're in a position to tell me to be more humble, you're delusional. Humble is for people who still have not proven. That they're good. This is who humble is for. It's people who think because they have one win are all of a sudden way greater than they are. So they'll hit Grandmaster and they say, I am the best player ever. No, you can be proud of your Grandmaster, but let's calm down a bit. You're a Grandmaster player, but you still are, a big fish in a small pond. When you get to the highest levels, you're gonna humble yourself. You're gonna see how humble it's gonna become when you get destroyed by people who are significantly better. But after I've played for over 2 decades, and I tried my very best to be at the top of the leaderboards, I'm allowed to tell myself, awkward dude, you're awesome. You're great. If people say it constantly, it gets annoying. The basic question I can ask you, if somebody that is like boasting, like or saying I'm so good bothers you so much, why does it bother you? Why does it bother you when somebody says I am good? Think about it. Why does it bother you? You're good at something if you can teach others and help them improve. And if somebody does that and he says, I'm so good, what is it? What is it issue? Like, what does it bother you? If somebody every single day helps like he's been, I'll take myself as an example. I've been a rank 1 multiple times. I teach players, all the time. I have the most viewed educational content on YouTube. I run a paid coaching with rankupacademy.gg. If I say every day, awkward, awkward, you're such a great player, such a great teacher. Every single day, every stream. Why would it bother you? Why would it bother you? Think about it for a second. Why would it bother you? And in my opinion, it bothers you because it's when you hear somebody boast about how good he is and it's true, it keeps reminding you that you could be doing better. And then essentially, you are angry at the wrong person, because you're actually angry at yourself that you could do better, and it keeps being reminded to you by other people. That is what I think. Or it could be that somebody just isn't as good as he thinks he is objectively, and he thinks he's way better than he thinks he is. So you kind of have to remind him that he isn't that guy. Which is fair. But again, it only comes through objective results. Some results are just too undisputable. I don't think you should make a rule about being humble. You can't compare Cristiano and Zidane. It bothers people in general because the one not humble doesn't wear a family man type of character. I'm gonna be honest, man. I did not understand a single thing about that whole about this whole paragraph. Not a single thing. Apply thinks you're a bum. Once the heavyweight champ, other one's a phony. Well, the thing is, Mike Tyson has undeniable proof that he was amazing. So Mike Tyson has the luxury of saying, I'm great. He has the luxury of saying that. I am great. Muhammad Ali, same thing. Usyk, same thing. Any champion has the luxury of saying, I'm great. Because it's true. Because it's true. Only chatting today. I want to play CS in a bit. You know, it was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. What about it? What are your thoughts about on Jake saying he's great? Well, he hasn't proved that he's great. Would it be fair to say that he's good? Sure. Yeah, he's good. But if you want to call yourself great, great means like one of the best, in my, like the way I view it, right? If you want to be one of the best and say you're one of the best, you have to prove it. Even if you have like one build out of the four, I still wouldn't consider you great. Like, okay, undisputed would be, yeah, undisputed would literally crown you as the greatest of an era, you know. But great, I think at least two belts would be like great. Very valuable advice this stream. Thank you so much for the $2, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'll work on a Counter-Strike guide soon, yes. Are you good at boxing? Yeah, I would say I'm good. Would I say I'm great? Like, would I be able to go up and fight for the WBC title? No. No. Would I, like, walk out to, like, Gennady Golovkin and tell him, yeah, I'm just better? Oh, because I don't live in delusion. But you have to understand, right? Somebody like Jake Paul, and it could be, I could be wrong. Somebody like Jake Paul could be saying these things not because he believes them, but because it's easy rage bait that gets people to talk about him and watch his fights, which is clearly working, you know? It's like rage bait to get impression. which works. It's like if I was Plat and I would say I am better than GM players, and everybody would come to my stream to make fun of me, right? It's not. It doesn't. I don't necessarily say that because I believe I'm better than GM players. Because if you actually think that, you would be delusional. But I think some people say that to rage bait people, so other people would watch them and hate watch them. Because hate watching is still a viewer. Rage bait. Jake Paul is a marketing genius, but not a fighter. I think that it's unfair to say that he's not a fighter because he is. He's way above average. Yeah, he's way above average. Could he fight people that are good and beat them? Potentially. Do I think he can win a belt right now? No. But I think it's unfair to say that he isn't a fighter. It's not a fair thing to say. Maybe he's not as amazing as other fighters, sure. But he's not a fighter? Nah, not fair to say. Hard to believe Jake Paul is that brilliant. You think to rage bait, you need to be brilliant? Rage bait is like, is low efforts impressions. It's just like a high risk, high reward. But if your reward is money, then it's not that high of a risk. Because if your reward is money, for example, then it's literally low risk and all ends. Because if you win, you get money. If you lose, you get money. But if if what you're looking for is legacy and to literally be the greatest, it's very risky to say I am the greatest. Why? Because if you lose, people won't think you're the greatest for a long time. But if you win, it's high reward, but very high risk. But rage bait is like low risk, high reward. Thoughts of Ryan Garcia after his last fight? Oh man, Ryan didn't look good last fight. I like him as a fighter. He just didn't look good. I think at this point in time, he just doesn't have it in him. I know. When boxers become so good and recognizable, a lot of them lose a lot of the hunger for being the best because they already got what they initially fought for. You know? They got like some belts, they got the money, they got the respect, they got the recognition, they got the popular. It's like, why fight anymore? It's a different breed to keep going after you're the best. It's a different breed, man. Take the foot off the gas. And by the way, like, I really don't blame people for taking foot off the gas. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. Absolutely not. I think that, for example, you know, especially in the fighting industry, dude, for boxers, like, let's say you're an undisputed champ. You got all the belts. You're undisputed. Why fight anymore? You're already good. Like, why the brain damage? Why risk the brain damage? Just fucking quit. Save your health. Move on with your life. You got the belts. You got the respect. You got the money. That's it. You know, conserve your health. But a fighting sports for sure. But like even for social media influencers, like some people get so angry of influencers who decided to stop and quit. You know, there's some people who got to millions of views, millions of subscribers, and they like made a bunch of money and then just lived a quiet life. Who cares? Good for you, man. You made a bunch of money, and now you quit. Good for you, man. Good for you. If you wanted to keep going, that would be also like, you know, I wouldn't hate it. But surprise, surprise. People want to do things that benefit their life. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Like, I'm not saying that we have no duties in society. We do. We should do things that are beyond just the happiness of ourselves. But when we talk about the perspective of creating content, come on, man. Like, dude, I hate this YouTuber so much because he made a bunch of money and quit. Okay. So? Just look at The Rock, went to WWE and just became an actor. Yeah. But I'm sure that a lot of people will be like, dude, I hate The Rock, quit the WWE. But yeah, but he moved on to something better. Why not? Good for him. Good for him. I am transparent, guys. I do this. I want to make money. Me streaming, me doing YouTube, me doing coaching, I want to make money. And transparent, to be transparent, I want to make a lot of it. Does it mean that I'm going to scam people for it? No. Does it mean that I'm going to sacrifice my integrity for it? No. No, I want to make as much money as I can through my expertise, but give a lot of people value. I want both sides to say thank you. I coach people, they say thank you. They pay me money, I say thank you. When both sides say thank you, great. If you, like, I don't have this high sense of purpose that I need to coach everyone for free and help them for free. No, I want to make a bunch of money. I want to make a bunch of money. For being good at what I do. My price, for example, for one-on-one coaching is a lot higher than anybody else's. I highly doubt that anyone else in the coaching industry in Overwatch asks for more per coaching session. That's how I value my work. You want to pay it? Great. I'll help you out for sure. You don't want to pay it? Okay. You know, have cheaper options. You can watch my videos. They're free. Do you care about your community? Yes, but I don't care about people individually. Like, I am not friends with people in my chat. Does it mean that I don't care about the well-being of my chat? No. I would like you to be better. I would like you to be influenced for positive by the things that I say, by the things that I do, by the things that I teach. Whether it's in Overwatch or it's out of it, whether it's Marvel Rivals or it's out of it, whether it's Counter-Strike or it's out of it. But like on an individual case by case, no, not really. No. I want to spend a lot of money. With that said, I have a proposition for you. What is the proposition? And it's like if you're offended that me or another streamer doesn't consider you a friend, gotta be honest, guys, you need to prioritize your life a little bit differently. Because just the streamers, not your friends. YouTubers, not your friends. Your lovely TV cast, not your friends. Your friends are people that you share experiences with, and it's mutual. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, like, I'm happy that you subscribe to me. I'm happy that you donate to me. But I think that I exchange these subs and these donations for value, whether it's for entertainment, whether it's for coaching, whether it's for whatever you find valuable. I'm not gonna sit here, please sub to me because I jump in practice range and shoot bots. No, I want you to sub to me because you find the things that I do valuable. Because you had a laugh in the stream, you find it entertaining. That's why I would like to sub or donate. I don't want you to sub and donate because I think Awkward is my friend. Or I think, you know, I think that he will talk to me. You want to pay somebody to talk to you? Go pay a shrink. Okay? But I think that it would be smarter to, like, you know, put the money, invest in yourself, buy some nice clothes, somebody tells you a nice shirt, and then you can talk to them. Awkward, I have to say something. I don't think of you as a friend, even though it might seem like it because I'm talking a lot in chat. But seriously, I don't think so. And I know you IRL, haven't met you, we're not friends. Yeah, just because... Don't get me wrong. Just because you talk a lot in my chat, I don't think that you think that you're my friend. Don't get me wrong. I love people who talk in my chat because that's content. You talk, I say things, you share your opinions, say my opinions. That's how you keep the content rolling at the end of the day. That's how you keep the value and education and entertainment going. Just because people speak in my chat, it's not like it's a parasocial relationship. It's essentially you're adding to the content, you're adding to the value. It's just the way it is. I am not creepy. You're definitely not creepy. Creepy, I'll tell you what is creepy. Creepy is people who privately message me and say, "Hey man, I'll be in Israel soon. What city do you live in?" That is creepy. First of all, who are you? First of all. Second of all, even if I know who you were, why would I want to meet you? I don't want to meet you. Like, if you watch my stream and you happen to see me in real life, yeah, by all means, come say hello, you know? But respectfully, come say hello. Hey, Awkward Lie, I watch your stream, man. Cool. Yeah, that happened. But, like, don't be, hey, Awkward, I watch your stream, I'm a sub to you, dude. Like, can you come to my niece's birthday? No. No. I cannot, and I will not. Who will be the best man at my wedding? No. I mean, yeah, that okay, but that, what the fuck? Did someone actually did that to you? Dude, I don't consider myself to be a big streamer by any means, and I've had a lot of people, like, I'm not talking two. People message me creepy stuff, people message me like that they want to meet me in real life, like, not want to meet me in real life in the sense of, oh, dude, like, you're so inspiring, I wish I could meet you, you know? Not in the, no, in the sense of, dude, I'm gonna be visiting soon. Well, like, you know, let's exchange info. Like, oh, I see you're here, let's meet up. Just because I'm in your city, or even your neighborhood, or even in your fucking building, doesn't mean that I want to meet with you, or I'd like to meet with you, because I don't know you, and no offense, you haven't given me any reason to want to meet you. And for me, as a person, you know, who has hundreds of viewers, you know, like 300, 200, 400, on some days 800, right? I get these messages. I don't even want to imagine the amount of simps that message girls who are popular. You know? However, if I had to be honest, I am sure that a lot of girls who stream know that and play off of that fact and don't set these boundaries because they know that if they do, they're gonna receive less money. My opinion. Parasocial relationship can be abused for money? Absolutely. I don't want to abuse any relationship with my viewer besides me giving value or me entertaining. If I don't entertain you and I don't give you value, don't watch me. Do not watch me. Don't watch me. Not gonna be your friend. Not gonna be the best man at your wedding. I'm not gonna show up to your grandmother's funeral. I'm not going to show up to your father's birthday. None of that will happen. I'm not gonna talk to you privately in DMs about your problems. I'm not gonna help you fix your marriage if you DM me on Discord and ask me my fucking fiance is cheating on me. Not gonna help you with that stuff. Why? I'm not your friend. Not your friend. Not gonna be your friend. And yeah. And if you want me to recognize you because you respect me, do something that will make me respect you. Because respect is earned, not given. If you want somebody to recognize you or respect you, give him value. How can we earn your respect? Could you set an example? It's not even for me, man. Like, it's for everything. So, for example, you want Awkward to talk to you, right? If you're good at video editing, maybe consider, like, doing a video, you know, of a video for Awkward and send it to him. And the video will be so good that Awkward's like, damn, you're pretty good, man. You want to become an editor? Just for example. You want to be promoted at your job? Do so good of a job that you're going to be like, your boss is going to be like, damn, dude, that was, you increased sales and 100% increased sales. Yeah, all right, promoted, bro. People be like, yeah, dude, like, you need to respect me. First of all, why? Why? Well, like, why?
I aim to devastate. Double kill. Woe is you.
What, like, like, I think you need to give, like, basic human decency and, like, basic respect. But, like, respect you for something has to be earned. Fuck.
Une mort magnifique.
Minor perk unlocked.
Salut. No one can hide from my sight.
I really like that you have well organized your worldview. Thank you, man. I don't know, guys.
Do not provoke me.
Awkward. What are your thoughts on AI robots as couple? Ammo is BS. It will be fake since the beginning. That's a good question. Like, gonna be honest, the AI robots becoming couples is gonna be crazy, man. Like, it just like finding an AI girlfriend. I'm gonna be honest, man. If one sex gets replaced with robots, essentially, what will happen is the other sex will have to step up in order to reproduce, or their bloodline will go extinct forever. You know, like if women are going to replace men with robots, it's time for men to step up or extinct. If men will replace women with robots, it's time for women to step up or extinct.
A fine execution. Hello. Bonjour.
Yeah. But like we're seeing it right now, guys. You do realize we like the human species don't reproduce enough. We're well under replacement rates, and it's actually quite a big problem. I don't know if you guys know about it, but today people don't reproduce as much as they did 50 years ago, significantly. And the reason for that is many things. The reason for that is many reasons. But, you know, it's far too expensive to have a child. But that's like a cop-out excuse because you have places like, you know, Brazil, they don't have a lot of economies where families have 7 children. And the children grow up to be just fine. They don't become like CEOs of Google, sure. But they do just fine. They live a life. And everybody's doing great.
Bonjour.
China only allows 1 child per family because they're not around replacement rate.
Hello.
That's crazy. The 33% of young people in this generation build a relation with AI chat, use it for emotional comfort. That's great. But, you know, not surprising.
Bonjour. Hello.
It's like this whole chat is expensive thing is that's the least of why people don't have children. It's not people don't have children because there's no like too expensive. Children, the reason why a lot of people think children are expensive is because they apply their own lifestyle to their kids. Like if you go skiing and you have an expensive hobby and you buy new shoes and new clothes every 2 weeks and you spend like $200 in skins and then you say, dude, like, you know, only my rent and my bills are like, and all the stuff is like $3,000 a month, $3,000 a month. Yeah, let's be real, guys. Kids don't need that much. When I was a kid, I'm not gonna say I grew up poor. I'm not gonna say I grew up rich. I just like, you know, regular, right? I grew up regularly, like not poor, not rich, no luxuries, but definitely not. We had food. I wore the same fucking shirt for years. I remember I cycled between the same 3 shorts for like 4 years until I grew up and it didn't fit me anymore. And I was fine. Yeah, it's not like I cared about having a new shirt or having new pants. Like if I ate food, right? And ketchup spilled on the shirt, and so my mother used to clean the shirt, and if most of the time it came off through laundry or like through laundry, like some stuff that helped clean it. And if it didn't get cleaned, you would go on a fucking on the market, find a shirt for like $5 and buy it. Because I'm a kid. I'm a kid. And by the way, like you don't even have to buy them. Just like Demon Wizard saying, you don't even have to buy them. A lot of people will give you stuff for free if you just ask. And people say diapers are expensive. Diapers are not that expensive. What are you talking about? Diapers are not that expensive. You go to Walmart, you can buy a huge pack for like, whatever. Let's see. Let's see prices of fucking diapers. Diapers prices Walmart. So the most expensive ones are like 50 cents per like account, 50 cents. You have ones for like 40. You have ones that are off-brand for like 30 cents. 30 cents per one. Let's say you have to swap them 5 times a day, okay? 5 times a day for a while. That's still $1.50, bro. Still $1.50 a day. 30 days, 50, like let's say, maybe you'll spend $100 in diapers a month. You buy the best stuff. $100 a month is not crazy. Fuck.
Salut. Hello there.
26 pack is less than 3 pounds. Yeah. $40 per 84 diapers. What brand? What brand?
Superbe. Bonjour.
Yeah, Huggies the most expensive ones.
Hello. Do not provoke me.
Remember, children need a decent life. They don't need the best life. You know? Like the idea of I'm not going to have kids because I can't provide the best life. None of us had the fucking best life. You know, we all grew up differently. I'm sure that some of you grew up rich. I'm sure some of you grew up poor, and some of you like grew up just normal middle class. And we're alive. We're not hungry. We didn't die.
Je me sens vivante.
You know, the fact that we're able to sit here and communicate in Twitch chat, I think we're doing pretty good. Oh shit, my game crashed. What the fuck? What happened? Game crashed. Let me log in again. When are you hopping on CS? To be honest, we were fucking talked for so long. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna because it's really super late. The bigger thing is people don't want to sacrifice their lifestyle and personal goals, investments to raise the child. Yeah, but that comes at the trade-off of being fucking going extinct. Like, imagine if everybody thought that they're beyond having children. Imagine if every single person on Earth would be beyond having children. What would happen in 50 years? Sorry, 80 years. It's over, GG. It's over. And also, let's go to the same thing that I said at the beginning of the stream. I quit drinking soda cold turkey. And it's not like I think that drinking soda here and there is harmful. But I've already not drank any soda for over 3 years. That at this point in time, I would feel bad for ruining the streak. You know, I've had a 3 to 4 year streak of drinking no soda, right? I don't want to stop the streak. And it's the same thing with kids. The streak of me existing has gone for so long that I don't want to be the one ruining the streak. I'm not going to be me. Not going to be me. You know? I don't want to ruin the streak. My father had a kid. His grandfather had a kid. His grandfather had a kid. His great-great-great-grandfather had a kid. Everybody had a kid for thousands of years until I came. I'm not going to be the one to end the streak. No, thank you. I am not the bomb. Sorry, not the bomb. I'm gonna shift the responsibility to someone else. If someone down the line is going to be the guy that decides, yeah, dude, like, I'm not gonna sacrifice my time for some shit kid, it ain't gonna be me.
Who's on fire? I am. Zip up.
What a logic? I think it's very logical. A lot of people, you have to understand, a lot of people sacrificed so much of their lives for you to be here, and you decide, no, it's too difficult. That was difficult for them. It was difficult for them. And trust me, actually, I don't think at any point in time, it was less difficult to raise a child than today. At any point in time. 2025 is the easiest time to have a child. Why? You can feed them pretty easily.
Awkward is
You can change.
pathetic.
You can. There's
He thinks
everything.
Just because
Everything.
he goes to the gym, he's the best human
There's
on earth.
there's a YouTube tutorial how to clean the shit out of your kid's diaper. There's a TikTok short for that, for God's sake. Sorry, Stephanie, give me the prime, man. I appreciate it. There's a TikTok short that is accessible through this supercomputer, and you can watch how you can feed your child and switch his diaper. You don't even have to go anywhere. Child mortality all-time low, correct? Food accessibility all-time high. Back in the day, think about it, guys. Fucking 500 years ago, people had to go to the woods, find a pig, kill the pig, run after the pig, cook the pig, butcher the pig, and then feed it to the child. All you have to do, go use an app, order the food, cut down into little pieces so you can feed your child. You don't even have to do anything. You have to sit at the house.
Big prize.
You know? Life is too difficult to have a kid. Yeah, tell that to the people 500 years ago who are from your bloodline that had to fucking go hunt pigs and run, and then got jumped on by wolves while running back. And then the plague came and killed 80% of their clan. And a woman had to fucking give birth 3 times because two of her like, you know, babies died because of the plague. Yeah. So difficult. No, it isn't. And she had to give birth at home, correct? Correct.
Hi there.
Those people had children because there wasn't a way to not have children. There still isn't a way to not have children. What do you mean? If everyone stopped having kids, we would go extinct in 80 years. That's all. If everybody collectively decided, we're not gonna have kids, we will go extinct. But it's not even about collectively. Like, even half the population decided to not have kids, we would still go extinct. Or we would just not have enough manpower to sustain. You know? Generally speaking, not everyone should be a parent, sure, but I still think the vast majority should be parents. Is it difficult? Sure, but it's there's no less difficult time ever in history than today to have a child. But like I have a child, but Trump is the president. Yes, but 500 years ago there was a fucking king who would chop your head if you said bad word. I think it would be fairly more difficult. Generally speaking, no. Sorry, there are women who can't have kids. Yes, but the vast majority of women can have kids. Can have kids. That's the thing. In short, guys, like, I still like, it could be the case that somebody said that, but I personally have never heard before anyone who said it was a bad decision to have kids. I don't think I've heard anyone said that in my life. Could there be people who said that? Possibly. But I think the vast majority of people, the vast majority of the population, are pretty happy with the fact that they have children, you know? Yeah, I am sunburned, man. I'm sunburned. I got destroyed. There's no off-angling the sun. It's everywhere. But to get kids, you have to understand, to get kids, you have to find a girl who's willing to have kids for you. Which isn't the case. For a lot of people now. But to be honest, man, do I blame people? Like, if I was just a normal girl, not an entitled girl, not a girl who has like 500 body count, you know, like a regular girl, would I be happy with where men are at? Like, would I be interested in most men today? I don't know. Probably not. But it all starts with you at the end of the day, man. Like, no, nothing is given. Everything is earned. Try to be a good man, a good guy, a virtuous guy, a hardworking guy, competent guy. I'm sure you can find someone. You can find love. The harder part is having a courage to talk to them or starting conflict with them. Is it, guys? What do you mean it's difficult to have a conversation with a girl? Having a conversation with a girl is not difficult. Like, it isn't. If it's difficult for you, it's a skill issue, and the only way to improve it is to actually do it. Just do it. Awkward, can you show us? First of all, you can start with hello. Hello. Not hello. Not hello. Not hey. 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 Just be yourself? No, don't be your... Listen, the just be yourself is bad advice. Just be yourself is bad advice. I'll be careful. I'm not saying be someone else, but I'm saying that if you are yourself and you suck, then don't be yourself. Change who you are to someone that is cool, that is likable, that is awesome. If you just be yourself. What if I suck? No, just be someone that you know, that you are yourself, but you're cool, you're awesome.
What's cracking?
Brother, how many bodies is too many for a wife? Well, I think people are gonna give you different answers, but depends on age. That's the first thing, you know? Depends on age, I would say. 20? Well, for you're a 20-year-old girl. My opinions are more like my opinions about body count are way more traditional, way less liberal. For me, 20 with something that is beyond 3 is a little bit crazy. But that's, you know, but that in today's world is definitely not crazy.
Hi there.
No, you're gonna say 1. That okay. Listen, my preference would not be 3, but like I think that above 3 at 20 is like at what we call red flag territory. You know? My preference 0. My preference 0.
Zoom.
The question is, how many people out there for you to date? A lot. A lot. What's your body count awkward? I believe body count matters. Therefore, I will not say my body count because I believe it matters. Are there a lot of girls with 0? Well, it depends on what you mean a lot, but there are. The problem with the thing is that society became so degenerate and so non-virtuous is that the girls with the low body count, right, a lot of the times don't receive the attention of the girls with the high body count. Because the girls with a lower body count require more investment and people want fast, easy, you know? Can't a girl just lie to you and say 0? No. No, she can't. Because at least for me, I can notice. Now, I can't notice the exact number, but I can notice high or low. I personally notice high or low. I can look at a girl, hear her talk for like 5 minutes. I can tell you high body count, low body count. I can tell you, just mostly personality. It influences your personality. Why did we go degenerate? We threw God out the door and started living ourselves. The thing about religion is that even if you don't believe in God, religion has law and order, you know? And it has a system. And systems are very important for society to function. If you have no system and law and order, society doesn't function. That's a big problem. And when people think they're beyond the system and beyond law and order, that's where we start having problems in society. But it's not like one thing. It's not one reason as to why we became a degenerate society. It's not one thing. It's accumulation of many things. Our system is based off Christianity. Yeah. The thing is, most people don't understand, right? The thing that most people don't understand is that people who are atheists, for example, right, and they don't believe in God, right, or they're like agnostics, whatever. they say, how do I get my morality based off other, like, my own intuition, or based off my own, like, based off my the way I grew up in, but it all boils down to religion at the end of the day, you know? Because I based my morality based on how my parents taught me. Yeah, but somebody had to teach my parents, and somebody had to teach their parents, and somebody had to teach their parents. But eventually, it all boils down to, yes, Christianity taught someone, and they taught their kids, and they taught their kids, and it's all the values of religion at the end of the day. So even people who are atheists or agnostics hold the same morality for the most part to religion values. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Ayn Rand is. No idea. Ayn Rand. No, never read that. I don't read a lot of books, if I'm being honest. Netherthal had rules and systems as well, but they didn't have religion. The thing. Okay, so let me tell you how I view religion. Right? Whether you're a religious person or not a religious person, let me tell you my view of it. The thing is about humans. The thing is about humans is they're naturally, or they're more scared of hierarchy. Like, a peasant would be scared of a king, but a lot of people would still be not scared of kings. And the higher you go in the hierarchy, the less scared you are from the next step. So a peasant is scared of a king. However, the person who is two roles, or like a knight, or like a commander, who is not that far of a king in terms of hierarchy, is not afraid of a king, or not that afraid of a king. And the thing about God is that God is something that is supernatural, that a human could not possibly be stronger than, or overrule, or override, or destroy, or defeat. And that's why when people say, whether it's religious or not, God made these rules you must follow, you can't just say, fuck it, I am stronger than God. Fuck it, I'll defeat God, you know? Because God is supernatural. Therefore, more people are willing to listen to the system and order of religion. It's less likely for people to rebel against something they can't really fight. And for the most part, you like religion or not, in terms of law and order and control, it does a pretty good job. You know? It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. Just curious how much for a solo listen? It depends. Depends. How much time do you need? What type of coaching? But sessions with me privately don't go less for than $200. I'm not here to like kind of talk about religion that much. I believe religion to be a lot of it to be I wouldn't say private, but it's not something I want to talk about. Besides like kind of general things. It's all no, it's all good. It's all you can ask what like you can ask. It's all good. because the problem with for me to talk about a religion is that if I say I'm not very religious, people who are religious will have problems with me when I don't have problems with them, and if I say I am religious, a lot of people who are non-religious will have a problem with me when I don't have a problem with them necessarily. No?
Hi there. Hi. Hiya.
Essentially, I do have some opinions about things that I am going to keep to myself simply because it's the smarter it's the smartest thing to do in a professional manner. Does it mean that I'm going to compromise my morals and virtues? Of course not. But just because I don't talk about them because I just think it's a smarter professional opinion, a professional thing to do. It's a more professional thing to do. Why? Because it's irrelevant for things that I'd like to do. And for the things that are relevant, my opinions are relevant. My opinions are relevant for. I'm gonna stand my ground for it. But like,
Caught you staring.
yeah.
Hi there. Hiya.
Can we stop talking about religion? Talk more about Torb. Columns. I have a Torb video in bronze. What more can you ask for?
3 times the charm.
But also, like, the thing is that a lot of people are degenerate, and also, I don't want to exclusively say that people who are non-religious are degenerates, because that is not true. Because there's also people who are religious and are degenerates, which again kind of circles back to a different point as to why, and we have to ask, why are people more degenerate? And a lot of it is not necessarily due to lack of religion, or, I mean, it could be, but that doesn't explain why some religious people are degenerate. But the idea of we ignore these things in society and hope it gets better is not good. We can't ignore these things in society. We can't just say everybody should do whatever they want. If everybody did whatever they want, then yeah, we'll be fucked. We'll go extinct. Is it bad to be degenerate? Yes. I think it's bad for society, yes. If it's bad for society, then objectively, if we go extinct, it's bad. From our objectivity, because we can't really define, like, there are objective things without us. However, we kind of define things because of our existence. If we don't exist, we can't exist to define them. So would things be objective without us? Sure, but we wouldn't be able to define it. Therefore, it's like, it could be true. How could something be true? I mean, it could be true, but we wouldn't be able to exist to perceive it to be true. Don't we need something higher to define objective truth, something beyond the human mind? Well, that's the kind of the religious perspective. But you need something higher than something to define the objectivity of it. Sure, I would not disagree with that per se. Oh, don't get me wrong, by the way. I don't agree with moral subjective truths or like moral relativism. I personally I don't agree with that. I don't think moral relativism is true. Which usually means that if you don't believe moral relativism to be true, you have to get your values out of divine command. Where do you place Torb on a tier list? If that is a serious question, I would say the Torb. Let me see. I would say B tier. Some don't need religion, have morals and ethic. I agree, but I think that throughout history, it's we can see that people who were godless most of the time had no morals or ethics, and they treated other people badly throughout history. Now, I'm not saying that it's the case necessarily, but I'm saying that a lot of people are just very dumb and they need instructions. Most people need instructions. Would it be a fair statement to say? Most people need a manual to operate. In my opinion, it's true. Now, the question is, where do you get your moral code from? If you tell me I get my moral code from Christianity, Judaism, Islam, fucking Hinduism, and you are a virtuous person, productive member of society, right? You know? Cool. Good for you. And good for society. But if you're a non-functional member of society, it's time to give you an instruction manual. You know? Most people need to be told what to do. Most people need to be told to be good. Most people need to be told to behave. Most people need to be told do this and don't do that. Most people need to be told to not steal. So, what do you think of nihilist? It's like I don't want to talk too much about. Like I don't want to go too deep about a topic. I feel like we have morality inside of to know theft is wrong. Well, so how can you explain people that are okay with stealing, or you know? I'm a Reaper OTP and a Peak Masters 4, but after taking a break, I've been on a steady decline now. Find myself down at 30 on losing trend. I noticed I usually don't have a good amount of damage. And over this time, feeling hard for me to flank when my enemies are grouped together with cooldowns such as Flashbang and Out of Sleep or playing into more impressive characters with range. Do you mind taking a look at a replay code and advice on what I'm doing wrong? Would much be appreciated. No, I would not look at your replay. I do it as a paid service, and if you'd like to pay for the service, gladly. The cheapest option would be at rankupacademy.gg. You'll have your bot reviewed, and you'll have live coaching as well, and amongst many more things. At rankupacademy.gg. If you'd like to do it more pricey, more privately, it's way more pricey, and you can shoot me a DM on Discord. What happened to your Marvel Rivals educational content? I'm going to be transparent about the Marvel Rivals educational content. Most of the stuff just doesn't get any views anymore on YouTube. And when it does, and when there's going to be more things that people are interested in, I'm going to make more videos. I want to make content that is going to get views. Specifically about my educational content, yeah? Overwatch is getting significantly more on YouTube than Marvel Rivals, yes. Discord, you can do exclamation mark Discord in the chat. Do you still do Rivals coaching? Absolutely. I do Rivals coaching. Rank Up Academy and Marvel Rivals runs smoothly. Operating. That's amazing. I got my moral code through a ton of reading and critical reflection of both history, philosophy. Personally, I find it to be more liberating than following instruction manual. The problem with this, though, you have to understand a whistle. The problem with this is that somebody could tell you, I have done reading, philosophy, history. I've done all of the things that you've done, and I've reached the opposite conclusion. And then what? Okay, what is that? How do you decide what right and what is wrong? When somebody tells you the same thing, but he reached an opposite conclusion. Articon says KYS. Articon, why are you saying KYS to me, man? Don't you care about my feelings? Is it okay to play one character per season? Absolutely. I mean, depends on how bannable your character is. Then we have a discussion to understand each other's point of view. That's how we learn and grow. Sure, but then you say, yeah, that's my conclusion. And you say, no, this is my conclusion. And it's a plain disagreement. How do you decide who's right? You can't have a conversation forever about some topics. They're non-negotiables for people. So I'll give you the most extreme example. You read, you philosophy, you history. You say murder is bad. He say, I read philosophy. I read books. Murder is good. You talk. He says, I think murder is good. Regardless of what he say. And he say, regardless of what he say, I think murder is bad. How can he come to a conclusion? And the reason why religion is so effective with this, right? They say murder is bad. Why? Because something that is beyond human said so. And you cannot disagree with something that is supernatural or above nature. And that is why people who follow their religion says murder is bad, they'll murder because they don't want to mess with something that is higher being than a human. How could he possibly disagree with something that, how can you can disagree with a human, but can't really disagree with God? You know, in your head, he'll fuck you up. You can argue objective outcomes, but then first of all, you have to prove that your objective, you have to prove the outcome is good, because it also always can boil down to this. It also can boil down to the conversation of this. Murder is bad because it does this, but then he can say, yeah, but you don't know that in this time frame it will do this. Maybe it can go a downward trajectory after this time frame, right? And I'm not willing to risk that. And then again, you can't come to a conclusion. So one will go with his objective truth, and one will go with his objective truth, and it's over. Well, we all know there are countless arguments against appeal to God or appeals to supernatural. Yes, but throughout history, these people always lost the war. You have to understand, godless society always have lost to societies with God throughout history. And that is just undisputable. We are largely a secular society now? No. Most people are still religious, and most society is still built on religious values. Even if they're more secular, they're still built upon religious values. At core, most societies run on religious beliefs. There are some more liberal than others, sure, all willing to admit. But it's still at core, it's within religious values. Then there's a religion that says murder is good and the cycle continues. Yeah, that's where the real difficulty is. The real difficulty is when one religion says something and another religion says another thing. And essentially what ends up happening is that those two religions go to war and the winner is correct. That's the way it is. You know, people say might makes right, but essentially just might makes. Right or wrong? Time will tell, you know? Everything essentially boils down and waters down to violence. That's the reality. That's objective truth. Everything boils down, in essence, to violence and force. Force. And also, I'd like to point something out, but about something that somebody says, you know, about some of the things that you're saying. Even if religion can be proven to be, in some cases, wrong through modern science, however, you can see that as society, it functions better when they follow the rules of said religion. I would say the outcomes would still be good. Like, for example, if you can prove that in Christianity, Judaism, Islam, this verse is wrong, therefore you question the religion, okay? But you would know that if you were to completely dismantle the religion, people would be more degenerate. Then you have to ask yourself, would I rather let them lie to themselves, right? To have a more healthy society, or should I not? Even from the perspective of somebody who goes for outcome.
Big prize.
Like, for example, you know, like, if let's say that my wife is cooking food and she makes steak, but it isn't the most amazing steak ever. And I can prove that it's the most amazing steak ever. I can go to a chef's restaurant and bring a steak and show her that it tastes better, you know? But I know that when I say, wife, your steak is lovely, it encourages her to try and learn more about cooking and cook more. Would I say your steak is the best? Yeah, I would. Even if I know that her steak is not really the best. You know? It's like when we say you're the prettiest girl in the world. Do you already is she actually the prettiest girl in the world? No. She isn't. Let's not kid ourselves. Your wife, your girlfriend is not the prettiest girl in the world. It's impossible. It's impossible for all of the girlfriends and all of the wives to be the prettiest girl in the world. You know.
Got you staring.
But we say it. Why? Because even that produces better outcomes.
Hi.
So even if you're looking for better outcomes type of arguments, that will be the case. Oh, by the way, if we're talking about religion leading to more well-behaved societies, somebody could point out Singapore or Japan as more secular societies versus heavily religious societies like Somalia? The point is not every secular society is bad or every religious society is good. That is straw manning. But like, if you look statistically, usually the religious society in general are more well behaved than none. And that is why the only societies that did stay throughout history, or rather most of them, are the religious ones. Isn't beauty subjective? Beauty is not subjective. No. I mean, maybe at the top level, perhaps, but you can objectively. So, for example, if you lined up 1,000 men, and you put one lady who is obese and one lady who is this Victoria's Secret model, what would you say the ratio? What would you say the ratio of men who would say this girl is prettier, like pointing at the Victoria's Secret model? What's the ratio? How many men would you say that the girl that is obese is prettier than the Victoria's Secret model? How many people? Agreement is an objective. Okay, sure. But agreed upon is something that's something that I wouldn't say objective, but it's something we still follow. You know? So maybe the correct term would not be objective. However, you know, maybe one, like, even if 10 guys somehow said the obese girl is like prettier, still won't make the rule. All right. I'll respond to the DM about coaching for sure. Religion stayed because they fought wars over it? Yeah, but the point is that godless society lost the wars over it. Hello, Spyro. Societies with no religion, which, by the way, yeah, be honest, can't name them. I don't know. Not that deep into history. But I've lost the war against religious societies. And essentially, we have to look at the world descriptively, you know? And descriptively, I'm not saying might makes right, but might makes. You know, like, just because you win in a fight doesn't mean you're right. However, you do dictate the terms. Does it mean that every secular society is bad? No. Does that mean that every religious society is good? No. But kind of look at generalities here, yeah? You don't look at the exceptions. And also, like, people say Japan secular society good. To be honest, Japan is having a big birth rate crisis, which you know, essentially, the worst outcome, I think that we can universally kind of agree, whether it's secular societies or religious societies, that extinction is probably is the worst thing that can happen to the human race, right? You know, and the point where I'm getting at is that if the worst outcome for the vast majority of the population, regardless if they're secular or religious, is the extinction, and you see that religious society produce more children, then you kind of have to ask yourself, what can we learn from it? Because Japan right now Korea is getting fucked in terms of replacement rate. They don't have enough births. They don't produce enough children. which means that eventually, if Japanese people and Korean people are not gonna have more babies, they're gonna go extinct. And I don't think any race wants to go extinct.
Caught you staring.
I can go to Japan and Korea to fix that. I'm sure you would, man. I'm sure you would. Thanks for the content, man. Say it true to yourself. Thank you, questionable for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think this is done to prevent overpopulation. Earth is not even remotely close to being overpopulated, and anyone who has ever been on a plane can tell you that the Earth is not remotely overpopulated, man. The vast majority of planet Earth is uninhabitable. The amount of food that we produce, we throw so much food that we produce down the bin that could feed, I mean, I don't have the exact data, but it could probably feed the entire planet twice with the amount of food that we throw out. Have a good one, Dio. Thank you for stopping by, man. We are definitely not underpopulated. I don't know who's telling you we're underpopulated. We ain't. We ain't. We have a lot of space. We have a lot of food. We have a lot of resources. A lot of it. Just corrupt the location of those resources? Yeah, but that is more dominant within certain societies compared to others, you know? Well, usually referred to first world countries, third world countries, you know? I mean, a lot of the difference is the allocation of the resources. It depends on how much care you care. I mean, to be honest, society, you care about your people. Where's the second world? It's Overwatch. The dimension in between both. It really isn't. Would you compare North Africa to the United States of America in terms of allocation of resources? Like the idea, the thing is, right, is that when you look at the United States of America, if you look at the United States of America as a society and you drop $5 trillion into the United States of America, what do you think would happen? Well, the country would be better. But let's say we drop $5 trillion on some country in whatever, like North Africa or whatever, right? Do you really think the same allocation of resources would happen? Do you think, or would you say that, let's say, a country, North Africa, would just take the money for the leadership and just leave the rest to pretty much die? You know? Obviously, a lot of societies do way better than others in that regard. Like, I am sure, for example, I think that's what would happen in the US too. Well, that objectively did not happen, though. That's objectively don't happen. You know, like, as a society, the first world country progressed significantly. Even we're talking about the poor, the middle class, and the rich class, you know?
Blinding. Hi there.
money is fake. It's just something to squeeze people to go to work at 5 and make people to coffee at 15 an hour. I mean, if you're talking about the concept of money, okay, but like you do understand that if the money didn't exist, you would still trade your time for like you would still trade something for something, you know? The person that sells milk would want to trade his milk for your leather. You know, it's like money is just a middle thing, like a middleman. At the end of the day, people would still trade their skills and things that they have for other skills they're interested in and things that they have. Money is just the middleman to do so conveniently. So, like, you don't have so if you want milk, you wouldn't fucking have to find across the world, like, across the city, somebody who sells milk so you can sell them your leather. You know, it's like they put money, so you get money, he gets money, and he buys things with that money. It's just more convenient. Money is just like a more convenient trading system. That all. That is all. Is money just a piece of paper and like digit on a screen? Sure. I mean, yeah, I can somewhat agree with that. Sure. But it's still time skill products. Trade. Not trying to glaze, but this chat seems unusually educated compared to most Twitch communities. Sure. I mean, I think that the difference between this chat and most people is that we can sometimes talk about serious stuff and adult things and be adults. I think that's a big difference. And we can talk about our ideas, even though sometimes we might think that our idea is wrong and the other people's idea is wrong. We just kind of talk them, you know. That's how we kind of progress as society. Like we talk, we believe these ideas are right, we believe these ideas are wrong. Let's test them. I mean, like being an adult is it's mostly not freaking out when somebody says something that you don't necessarily agree with. You know, it's like in today's society, like for example, in today's world, especially, it's very dominant online. You say something along the lines, "Oh man, I wish more women had more children," or like, I wish guys would be more masculine and hit the gym." Fascist, bigots. Like, bro, what the hell? I think brain rot has a time and a place, but you know. It's worth explaining why. The thing that usually when people use these like one name, like, I believe this, you're fascist. Usually when they do this like one word attack, personal attack, is because they can't really explain their argument. You know? People, when they can explain their argument and they can word their worldview, would explain to you why they believe you're wrong. Most people just use these like terms. Fascist, bigot, racist. Translation, I can't explain why I think you're wrong. I just heard another guy use that word, so I just said that word because buzzword, you know? But you know, in essence, I can at the very least respect people. Even if I completely disagree with them, at least I can respect the fact that they're willing to debate their ideas and they're willing to word their ideas and explain why and like convey an argument. Most people in today's world will call you names without explaining why.
Caught you staring.
You believe women should be feminine or men should be masculine. Trump supporter, fascist, bigots, sexist. Okay, like you call me these names. Can you explain to me why do you think my opinion is wrong? And I'm not even gonna bother explaining a racist and a bigot like you why I think you're wrong. You won't even. You're too stupid. Translation: I cannot explain. I cannot translation. I cannot explain my worldview. I cannot word my worldview because I'm just following orders. I can think for myself, so I'm just gonna call you a bunch of names. And let's be real. Most people, by the way, they have opinions, and they don't have the like. Most people are, as I said, following instructions. Most people don't know why they believe the things that they believe because they don't like. They just follow the instruction manual. They lack critical thinking. I believe my belief is that you should know exactly and precisely why you believe something. And if you don't know why you believe something, essentially you have been brainwashed. And that is for every side, by the way. For every side. Left, right, conservative, liberal, Muslim, Christian, fucking Jew, Hindu, whatever. If you don't know precisely why you believe something, and can't make a sentence as to why you believe it and explain it, you are brainwashed. You didn't think of those things. Somebody else taught them and told you to think that way, and you followed the instruction manual. You've basically, essentially, followed somebody else's instruction manual without even questioning it.
Zoom.
All right, guys, it's pretty late at night, 2 a.m. Pretty good talk, like I enjoyed talking to that. I enjoyed the beginning of the conversation. And I really enjoyed this philosophical, societal, opinionated talk. So I know this is completely off topic, but if we drift back to the topic of the beginning, if you're interested in coaching, whether it's Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, if you're interested in private coaching, should be a DM on Discord. If you're interested in, Rank Up Academy, which you still receive a lot of you, live coaching, be a part of a community of learning and constantly improving and ranking up. Oh, wait, before I go, yeah, rankupacademy.gg. Before I go, I just want to share my something that I'd like to do, and I would like to see your opinion on this, if you think it's a good idea or not a good idea, or something you'd be interested in participating in. So, I was thinking to promote Rank Up Academy and promote coaching, my coaching specifically. I was considering to make like a specific day within a certain time frame where X amount of gifted subs, I will do a VOD review. But limited to one per person, So it'll be like, if you're interested in getting a VOD review, it's for X amount of subs, and that way it will increase subs, which will increase more people in here. So basically, somewhat like a cheaper trial, you could say, for the coaching. Like the way Apply does it. I think I've seen it with Apply. I think I've seen it with it's essentially, it's not a new concept. It's like VOD review for VOD review for gifted subs. It's not a new concept, but it's mostly to promote hello, goodbye. Why you stop playing Marvel? Timos, I have a question. You're asking the question as if I owe somebody an answer. Question. You ask a question and you say hello after. Do I owe you an answer? Do I even answer for the question?
Hi there. Hi.
Can you rate apply? Not likely, no. Not likely. I don't want to rate apply.
Let's try something else.
We have drops here always, man. Dropping knowledge, dropping truth bombs, dropping everything, bro. He's right over here.
Boom.
Alright, so yeah, either way. So I said, thought about the idea. Seems like seems like people are okay with the idea. Either way, you guys have a lovely rest of the day. Lovely rest of the night. Peace.